Hey everyone, how you doing? How's it going? My name is Avers Puma. Welcome back. It's an off-brand review time, and frankly, it's been a little bit. I'm sorry for this, because this took so long to come out. So today, we are looking at Euphoria. Let's keep this wholesome for a whole goddamn 10 seconds at the most, because this is not very pleasant to look at sometimes. But anyway, there's your tags, and let's keep this runtime going. So, let's first start off with something great. We have, in the beginning, a girl getting shocked to death in the electric chair. Wait, what the fuck? That was in there? I guess so. Well, that was fucked up already. Alright, so we have a girl getting shocked to death in the electric chair, but that actually happens a bit later down the line. We are introduced to a main group of characters. We have our main protagonist over here, Tadado Kaitsuke. I believe I said that correctly. Kaitsuke is the only man out of this group of 7 people, which alludes to some really bad storytelling later down the line. The class president, Ando Manako, is introduced next. Then Kaitsuke's childhood friend, Hori Kane, is introduced. Then Manaka Nemu, which is this stupid chick. I'm kidding, I don't know, I'm being facetious. We have Banakuyo Rene, and I am sorry if I'm butchering all these goddamn names, because you know I'm very smart. We have Manakuya Rika, which is the little lolly girl. Believe me, I don't know if I'm gonna get arrested for this one. And the teacher, Aoi Natsuki. They are all participating in this one jigsaw puzzle. And if they try to leave or break the rules of the game, they will end up dying and the game will be over. And being the club president, she gets kidnapped as the lights go out, and then she is sentenced to death by the electric chair. Because she didn't want to play the game, and frankly, Jigsaw don't take too kindly to the rules. So the whole class watches in freaking horror as she's being electrocuted to death as she soils herself, which is frankly a detail that I rather not include, but it happens. And everyone's left in shock except for our main character over here, because our main character is kind of messed up in the head. He gets turned on by this sight of a girl pissing and shitting herself after she's been killed in the electric chair. As our main character is staring at this absurd scene, he actually ends up hallucinating about something else. He is hallucinating that his childhood best friend Kane is being tied up and he's taking advantage of her. Because our main character has some really sick fetishes going on down there. Apparently he's not as clean as we once thought, because his specific turn on is that every single time a girl is writhing in pain, suffering, or just end up not having a good time, he gets turned on by that. Kaitsuke is found still sitting in the electric chair room with dead girl Manako. And Nemu walks in and realizes that our main character, Kaitsuke, he's a little screwed in the head. He ends up getting hard by looking at this girl suffering in agony. Actually, previously suffering in agony because she's dead, and I really can't prove anything else after that one. But anyway, Nemu uses this stuff as blackmail as to make him choose her in the game. Because the whole purpose of the game is to make Kaitsuke choose a girl out of the 5 remaining girls in the game. He is the one man with the key, and the rest of them are labeled as keyholes in this game. Kaitsuke has to make a choice between the rest of the 5 girls and which girl he has to do a lewd act with to open one of the doors to their escape. There are 7 doors in total, one for each of the people in the room, but now basically 6 people left because one's dead. Kaitsuke chose Nemu over his childhood best friend because he believes that Kane would have a twisted view of him if he chose his childhood best friend over some random person. Turns out that every single time he has to try to open a door with a girl, there are terms of opening a door. There are usually prerequisites that he has to follow. He is given like a set of tools, which you may call it, for these acts. Like, for example, in the first episode, he has to play with some rather revealing bondage equipment with Nemu, while he has to... You know what? The R word got me demonetized anyway, so I'm just gonna use the word forced. And force is equal to the big R word. That is a big giant no-no. And if you guys want to look that up, go ahead. I'm not forcing you to turn back now, but frankly, my dear, I hate that tag. Basically, the objective for this door is to forcefully screw her in this bondage equipment and come and go 2 times. And I'm putting this lightly in terms because, you know, this stuff is weird. After he forcefully does her twice in a row, the broadcasts of the results are shown in the main room where the rest of the girls are watching. And pretty much that's the first episode. So next up we have the second episode of Euphoria, where our main character is still stuck on deciding between Nemu and his childhood best friend Kane, because there are still 6 more doors left to open. And Nemu actually wants our main character, Kaitsuke, to choose her the whole time, while Kane allows herself to... Man, what words can I use to not get perfectly screwed over by YouTube's system without already screwing myself deeper into this hole that I've already killed myself into? Kane wants to be chosen by her childhood best friend and lover, Kaitsuke, while Nemu wants to be chosen all the time for the rest of the door openings, while Kane also wants to be chosen as well because she likes Kaitsuke, even though he's fucked up in the head. Because, you know, people likes all sorts of tags and kinks, but here, I'm not one to judge. After the first door is open, they take a 10-minute interlude for everything else to calm down. Kanane talks with Kaitsuke about if he's going out with Nemu because Kane actually witnessed them making out and screwing on the monitor, and she ended up getting a little bit jealous because she wants to be loved as well, even though that love he demonstrated in that one giant screw session was pretty damn rough. Because definition of love in this fucking anime is very skewed. So Nemu and Rene argue about if the game is actually going to continue working, while Kaitsuke chooses Kanane in the next trial in the next screw session. And this one, oh my sweet goddamn Christ. Dude, that shit was gross. That was terrible. With the third door this time, Kaitsuke chooses Kanane again, and however, she starts to smile and starts to warm up to Kaitsuke's bad side. And good lord, that... Oh my god, dude, that's fucking insane, dude. No, that's fucking gross. Okay, so the third act that he committed on Kanane was to use her as a human toilet. There you go, I didn't sugarcoat it, you stupid bastard. For the fourth time, he has to open another door. Kanane is chosen once again by Kaitsuke, and Nemu starts to crack an evil smile. So, it turns out, in this one, Kaitsuke straps Kanane to a chair, ties her up, puts a whole bunch of electrodes all over her, and starts to shock her. Because apparently, he likes pain, and pain is fucking mandatory, kids. Yeah, she's got a whole bunch of electrodes, a car battery, and a vibrator all plugged up into her, and she's basically getting shocked, and he's basically screwing her in the mouth. there's so much details, man, in this one. It's good to have details, but when you have someone pissing themselves, getting shocked, getting screwed in the mouth, and a vibrator stuck in something, you had to start to question if you're wondering your sanity is okay. In the third episode, our main character chooses Renene instead of Nemu and Kanane, because this is a multi-part series that follows different routes from a visual novel and game. It does the same act as Kanane in the second episode, but she has, I think, 2 personalities. I don't know what disease is that. Throw that up on the screen editing call because I'm stupid and can't remember that stuff. The third door is needed to be opened once again because this one's following a different route once again, everybody. So instead of using a human toilet Kanane in the second episode, this one is a giant screw up. Well, Renene is tied up once again because our character isn't at the big bondage tag, but he uses a giant Moby Huge against Renene. And Renene, frankly, can't fit that whole thing in there, and he shoves it in deep and deep until she starts bleeding. And turns out that's not the end of it, because he shoves his whole goddamn fucking arm in there, dude. And that was the whole purpose of this one. The Moby Huge was to make a giant path for his whole goddamn fucking arm to get inside of her. Holy Jesus. In this route, Nemu is a whole giant mastermind behind this fucked up game. And Rene and Kaitsuke are the ones who are left because all the other girls went crazy, such as Kanane, Rika, and Natsuki. They are left in the room to be crazy, while Kaitsuke and Rene are brought to a room with a bed and a dinner table for rest because they want to continue the game. Rene is starting to fall for our boy Kaitsuke, and our Kaitsuke boy starts to actually pull some vanilla crap and love her. But it turns out that second personality I mentioned from Rene starts to emerge and show herself. And Rene's second personality actually strangles Kaitsuke to death. And she is left impregnated by Kaitsuke. And Nemu and Rene are the last ones alive, while she's basically gone cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs with the baby inside of her. Alright, Euphoria number 4. Now this one's a giant turning point in the anime. This one starts to go from slightly less fucked up crap to slightly wholesome crap. It's Natsuki's and Rika's route, the teacher and the lolly's route in the visual novel. So, turns out Rika is chosen instead of Nemu and Kanane as the second door, but our boy's a still screwed up bastard, and he's basically screwing her in a bathtub while she is being pushed underwater while he's forcefully giving it to her. Fucking let me crack him with a fucking screwdriver. So our boy is a sick bastard again. He just takes a lolly's first time in the bathtub while he's basically drowning her. And that was lovely. To open the second door. And Natsuki, the teacher, is chosen to open the third door. The fourth door is now able to be opened, and then Rika is chosen again as a school swimsuit girl, and he has to basically play master and servant with Rika. And the fifth door has to be opened after Rika goes. Natsuki is later put in a baby outfit, like with a bib, pacifier, like the little sippy cups, bib, diaper. Apparently everyone's falling for this guy because he's trying his best to save everybody, apparently. So the fifth door is open after that weird baby session with the teacher, but it's okay. They later escape through a hole in the sixth door, and turns out that Rene actually wants to stay behind because she believes that she remembers this room and wants to find out her purpose for her being here in the room. And Nemu is nowhere to be found with the rest of the girls. So Kanane, Rika and Natsuki and Kaitsuke are making a break through the tunnels. And 3 scientists actually end up tailing them. And Kanane sacrifices herself to be captured by the scientists, while Natsuki, Rika, and Kaitsuke try to escape. But Nemu is blocking the vault door to get out of there. And turns out the teacher, Natsuki, is a secret agent who knew about the room all along and actually shoots Nemu to death. And Rika, Natsuki, and Kaitsuke escape, and they all live happily together after on a beachside paradise where both girls are pregnant with his child. Episode 5 rolls around, and turns out this one takes part after the vault doors opened. Our boy Kaitsuke actually passes out due to pain in his arm, and Nemu stays behind with Kaitsuke to make sure he regains consciousness, and he realizes that Nemu actually is growing attached to our main character for how screwed up he is, but you know, it's okay. But they end up going back to the school and realizing, oh my god, there's a giant fucking orgy happening at the school, and it turns out every female is used as a fucking plaything for all the guys. And it turns out that Kanane in this route is the mastermind of the whole game about everybody. Like, she's the main villain of the storyline. Our boy Kaisuke's reality of Kanane has been destroyed because she reveals herself as the mastermind and tells him that all he knows about her are goddamn lies. And he is broken for sure. And Nemo is basically the only person he's got left in this route because he has a choice he has to make between Nemu and Kanne about who he actually has to kill to save everybody else. Renne, Rika, and Natsuki are captured in the school gymnasium, and Nemu and Kaitsuke are given a choice. But basically, Kaitsuke has the main judgment role in this. Either he has to kill Nemu or Kanane to save everybody from this curse. And since our main character is an indecisive little bitch, Kanne actually beheads Renne, Rika, and Natsuki. She kills all 3 of them. Oh, excuse me, the screwdriver's catching up to me. Nemu later confesses her feelings in giant goddamn quotation marks to Kaitsuke about how she starts to care for him a lot more than Kanne will ever will. And the next day rolls around, and I know I didn't want to review this, but I promised the man in the comments. Nemu and Kaitsuke are being put on display for all the girls and guys in the middle of the gymnasium, where Kaitsuke has rough intercourse with Nemu, and actually he breaks her neck doing it, and she actually says thank you as her parting final words, while Kaitsuke is in utter shock and disbelief that he killed somebody that he actually cared about. But he freed everyone else from Kanne's evil torment. Kanne is actually shot and killed at the end of this route, and Kaitsuke walks off with a girl that he saved and basically starts to care for her as Nemu, basically. And this is the last one, Euphoria number 6. This one actually didn't come out that long ago recently. I believe it didn't, but you know, it's okay. This one's focused around Renne. So imagine episode 5, but instead of Kanne being the main villain, it was Nemu. Nemu is basically forcefully gang screwed by a whole bunch of guys because Renne has a second personality of hers come out as a cult leader, and that Kaitsuke is a savior or messiah of this cultist group that was randomly brought up in the anime. Nemu is basically used as a gang forced plaything, as Renne and Kaitsuke and Kanne end up being abducted into this cult underground. So Renne's second personality has totally taken over her because Renne is actually born from little boy Kitesuke getting forcefully screwed by Redne's mother, because Redne's mother was a cult leader that actually gave birth to a little baby girl, which was Redne, and Redne has taken on the role of her mother as to be the basically Mary, if you guys are into Christian religion, like the Virgin Mary of this whole cult. Kadne is later just shoved in a cell in this giant cultist dungeon thing and never heard from again, while Redne forcefully screws Kaisuke over and over and over again in hopes to make a child for this cult crap. Redne actually is taken hostage one day by Kaisuke in a giant entourage going on. Kaisuke rebels against the whole cult and actually kidnaps Redne and forces her first personality to come back out and to basically live a normal life with Redne. Turns out Redne did give birth to their child, but it was a girl instead of a guy, and she blames herself for not being able to bring her savior's child, but he loves her and the child just as the same as much as a normal family. So they lived happily ever after, but it turns out the cult actually found those two again after fleeing from the giant cultists. And that's basically where the anime ends, everybody. So, everyone, that was Euphoria. So I'm gonna not sugarcoat this at all. I thought the story was actually quite interesting. The tags for this one were not good for me, honestly, because frankly, I'm not into pissing, I'm not into shit, and I'm not into the giant R word. But honestly, I find the story very compelling, and I like how it was actually a game you can play online, and it's got 15 plus endings you can do. But honestly, I will give it a C tier. And I just realized like my whole system to rank stuff is screwed up because apparently S tiers are 8 and above, and A tiers like 7, B tiers like fuck, my bad, like 8 out of 10, like 9 out of 10 is S tier, 8 is an A, 7 is B, 6 is C tier, and like D is something else. But you know, I really screwed up. It's okay, man. But I guess one a C tier. But honestly, you could deadass put like a fucking those two numbers against that, man. Just through it. You can either make it a 7 or 6 out of 10 in C tier. Because honestly, I think I was okay as a story. But still, those tags are a giant turn off for me. But I just watch for the story, man. It's okay. Alright, everybody. I've kept you here long enough. So, suggest in the comments what you want me to do next. And everybody, I've been Avers Puma. And thanks for watching this garbage.
You